Okay, our figs have been cooking for about 2 hours, and you can see they're cooked down really good. They're still showing the sign of the fig round, which is what we want to go in our jars. But they're going to be spreadable, so when you get them out of the jar, once you're ready to serve them, they will spread on your bread or on your biscuit or whatever, because they're just that soft. They're really, really tender, so you can break them up real easy if you stir them too much. Of course, we've got lots of good juice there. We may even have some left over from this mixture to help us get our next batch started. One thing I wanted to show you was I took my jars and I've had them in this granny bath, which is a boiling water almost. You don't want it to boil, but you want it super, super hot, and you keep your jars in there for, while you're ending up getting ready to put your figs in. And then you take your jars out and drain them, and that's what I've already done. I also granny bathed my lids and my rings as well. This is just to help prevent, any bacteria or anything like that as we're putting together our figs. Now, what we're going to do is I'll come right back in just a second, and we'll start putting our fig mixture into our jars. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get our figs in our jars. So I'm hoping that you can see this. It's real important that your jars have this sieve or this ladle type thing to go over the top of the jar and allow your figs to go down in the jar. We don't want it running all over the sides and all of that. We'll clean that off if it does. Okay, it's super hot, so you have to be super careful, but just ladle in your figs in your jar, and it might be a good idea to hold the jar with a pot holder or a cloth or something so that you don't burn your hand as these figs are going in the jar. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put some figs in here, and I'll show you how it fills the jars up pretty quick. I may have more jars than I have figs, and that's okay. Now we want to leave a little bit of room because we want to put some juice in. Okay, so there's our first jar, and I'm going to set him right there. And you can see how we've left some room at the top there. Okay, let's go with our second jar. I think I'll probably get about 3 or 4 jars out of this, really. These were big figs, so they ended up not needing as much liquid as we would normally have if they were more on the size of a medium fig. Okay, we're going to leave our room for some juice in there to be poured in, because I like it juicy when I eat them. They're so good on biscuits, and that's super hot. So, and they're so good on toast, and oh, delicious. And that juice even serves as a syrup for them biscuits to sop in, as we've talked about before. Okay, looks like I'm going to get maybe 3.5 jars. Here, we may have to keep the half jar for using right away out of these. But typically I get about 6. Put a little bit more in that one. Okay, we're going to leave some room for some juice. Come back and get that. Alright, and I'll just take this one last jar here and go ahead and finish filling it up with what's left. These are really good figs too. They were very, very pretty. Had a lot of meat to them. So when you get, 2 or 3 out in a helping when you're with a biscuit or a piece of toast or whatever, that's about all you're going to need. Oh, I might have a few more I can just put in put one big more. Okay. Alright, now we've got our jars filled right there. We ended up with about 4. Okay, now I'm going to ladle in some juice in each one. And what we want to do is be super careful, because these are still hot because they just come off the stove. And there we go with some of this good old syrup. And what that does is that just makes for that to be much, much richer when you serve it out and have that opportunity for that syrup for those biscuits. Okay. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, be careful when you do this. You're working with hot syrup and it will burn you. And really and truly, probably should do it like this. That way it also keeps it from getting on your jar. Keeps your jar clean. Now, you know, some people put lemon slices in their fig preserves, and that's okay if that's what you like to do. I do not do that. I don't prefer to do that. I like doing it the way that my grandmother and my mama did. And we're just going to go the old-fashioned way here, and I've not seen any reason why I would need lemon slices in it. Oops, I'm not using my little funnel. I'll have to wipe that one up. He's dirty on the outside. Okay, so there we go. We've got our 4 jars, and they're hot, and that's what you want because that's what's going to help seal them. Now, some people, after they put their lids on, they're going to put them back into the granny bath and probably let them go for another 10 minutes or so. I usually don't do that. I typically just let them sit out. They're hot enough that they'll seal themselves up. That's the way my mama and my grandmother did it. Now, you can do that if you want to. That's perfectly all right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's probably just an extra step on making sure that your product is following, you know, all the guidelines for making sure that bacteria and stuff doesn't grow, but I don't typically have to do that. All right, there's 1 jar, and I've put the lid on and tightened it up. As you can see, I put the lid on, and it also has the cap in it too, the cap and the ring. Okay. All right, and we're going to tighten those up. And that will be my fig preserves ready to go. And I'll show you in another 30 or 40 minutes after they've popped how it'll look after the lid pops in. Right now that lid's kind of standing up a little bit, but after it seals in there and pops, we'll come back and show you that. All right, we're back, and those are my beautiful figs that we've made this morning. Look how pretty they are in the jar there. Look how gorgeous those look. So you can see that they're still whole, but they're still very good and spreadable. I had some left over, so I'm going to put them in a bowl for me to have with my toast this morning and my coffee, and that is going to be so delicious. I wanted y'all to see how these are going to look. My favorite thing, of course, is biscuit, but this morning I have some buttered toast that I made. I didn't have any biscuits cooked because I'm busy today. I'm probably going to put together a couple more batches as well today. I've got to go pick some first this morning. But anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our figs and we're just going to put them on our toast right here. And like I said, it only takes a couple of them because they're so big and juicy. And you just spread that around just like you would any kind of jam or jelly. And going to have a delicious treat there for you with your fig preserves. And I hope that this helps some of y'all that were afraid to kind of get into that, to go ahead and try it. It's easy. It just takes a little time, little effort on the, taking care of your jars, but it is really worth it, and a very good food product for you as well. I don't know about the sugar, but the figs are good. So I'm going to have my coffee and toast this morning, and I hope y'all have a great day.